All right, before we get to the pressure points, we're going to get started by showing you the different kicks and striking areas we're going to be using to actually hit these points. First kick will be the front kick. The front kick can be done in two ways. We can be using the ball of the foot or the tip of the toes. Which one you use will be dependent upon how soft your target is and whether you're wearing shoes or not. So with the ball of the foot, basic front kick, extend and back. If we were to use the toes, it would be the same thing, just the toes would go in. Obviously, again, a harder target area would require the ball of the foot. Softer target area would require the toes. Similar to the front kick would be the roundhouse kick. Roundhouse kick also has two striking points, the toes, the ball of the foot. As I throw the roundhouse kick around with the ball, I come across. If I had a softer target or if I was wearing hard shoes, I would stick the toes in the same way. The advantage of using the toes is it's a much more condensed striking area. So it would be similar to using a single knuckle fist as opposed to a full fist. So it really depends on your target and your situation. Next part of the foot we're going to cover is the side kick. Side kick uses the bottom of the heel. Side kick can be done in two ways. It could be done into the target, or if the person was on the ground, stomping down. Obviously, depends what you're aiming for. But one thing you don't want to do is hit flat or hit with the toes. Always digging the heel in, digging the heel in. Very important. The next surface area is going to be the back of the heel. The back of the heel has two distinct ways of doing it. One is what we call a hook kick, where the kick comes around. The second way would be if the person was on the ground, kicking down, in what's commonly referred to as an axe kick. Or if you had your partner bent over, we can bring it up and drop the kick down. All right? The next kick is a different kick. It's called the reverse roundhouse kick. Instead of coming across, we're going to take the same foot and turn it backwards, using the ball, twisting in a reverse motion. It's a very sneaky kick, and it's used to get around the person's leg if they're in a different stance. If they have one leg in the front and you're aiming for here, you can shoot around. So whether he's facing you sideways this way or the other way, you can do either the roundhouse or the reverse to get whatever target that you're aiming for. First 4 points we're going to cover work together. They're called the knee points. These points are probably some of the more dangerous points we're going to learn because done properly, they will dislocate or break the knee. So always be careful with these, extremely careful, more than any of the other points, because you're not just going to knock somebody down or knock them out. You're going to break their leg in a way that it's unfixable. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to have Dusan step forward with one foot. We're going to explain how this works. We're going to find where his kneecap is. We're going to make 4 spots. 1, 2, 3, 4. So like an X across his knee. Each spot is approximately 1 inch above the knee. On the inside, on the outside, so you could pinch on the bottom, and on the other side where you can pinch. The 2 points on the top need to be struck down to buckle his leg. Same thing if I come on the other side, going down. The 2 points underneath get struck upwards to buckle his leg. Now the techniques that we would use for this, switch feet for a second. The first one would be a side kick. If, let's say, he was punching, whatever he was doing, I moved out. Instead of actually kicking the knee, I would kick slightly above onto the spot to buckle his leg. From the opposite side, I would do it the same way. If I moved out this way, I would kick above the spot to buckle his leg. Just from a light tap, you could see how far his leg goes. If I extend my leg and I did it fast, there's a good chance of dislocating his knee there. Now for the bottom points, it needs to be struck in an upward motion. So you could use a front kick coming up from both sides. That is one way. But an easier way is to use what's called a scoop kick, where you just bring the foot up and slap across, which will buckle the leg out. Same thing on the other side, scoop up. So now if he was to grab me and I needed to get out, I could buckle the leg to set up my hand strikes. Generally, we would kick first low to set up our hand strikes up high. Quickest way to end any confrontation is striking the head and neck area. So while the kicks alone can do serious damage, they work a lot better as a setup. So if he's punching and I come in and I take his knee, it's a perfect setup for a follow-up shot or an arm lock or even a throwing technique. So remember, the knees forward, 4 points, about 1 inch above the knee, 1 inch below the knee. The 2 top ones go down. The two bottom ones come up. You need to extend your leg. If I only come down a little bit, he only moves a little bit. If I extend all the way, that's what's going to make his leg buckle when I hit it nice and hard.